I'm Marty Svito, Chief of Police, and I want to thank you all for being here, and thank you for coming out and weighing in on this issue. And David, for you, thank you for your leadership. And Councilmember Martinez, thanks for showing up, even though you're obviously probably should be in bed, but thanks for being here.
I want to start by making our position clear as Texans for Accountable Government. We do feel that there is a very severe drinking and driving problem here in the state of Texas, especially the city of Austin, having the University of Texas and 6th Street. We do, however, feel that the solution that the Chief of Police is proposing is both impractical and of questionable constitutionality. So we feel that we should move forward with this point. Rather than taking a cue from the federal government, we feel that we as Austin residents should come together and fully discuss this and come up with a solution that's not only effective but constitutional. Thank you.
The current transportation code already allows for mandatory blood draws in cases of involuntary manslaughter and in cases of felony injury by motorized vehicle. If you're flying a plane, driving a boat, driving a car or truck, and you have felony bodily injury, you can be forced to give blood. For me, the issue is, do we want to expand that? Is that appropriate? But guys, the City Council is not going to make this decision. It's your legislators that are going to make this decision. So don't ask me why I stuck my neck in this guillotine, but I'm here because I do have opinions about this as well. I do believe that we do have an alcohol issue here in Austin. But very much like the position I took with panhandling, outlawing it isn't going to make it go away. It doesn't solve the problems that we truly face. So I will continue to foster the community dialogue whenever and wherever possible with you all so that we can have those broad discussions and so that we can find the true policy position wherever that may lie. So I thank you all for your time this evening.
Thank you, Mayor.
My name is Karen Housewright. I'm the State Director for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. My office is about 2 blocks away on South Congress, right next to ACLU, in fact. But our mission is to stop drunk driving, to support the victims of this violent crime, and to prevent underage drinking. MAD did create a campaign to eliminate drunk driving 2 years ago. One prong of that campaign is to support law enforcement, and we have very aggressively gone out and told law enforcement that we will support any legal means to stop this very horrible crime from occurring. So anyhow, that's what MAD's position is, and I look forward to the dialogue and to answering any questions you might have.
Thank you, Karen. And Debbie Russell with the ACLU of Central Texas.
Just to say that the ACLU of Texas in general, not just our chapter, certainly believes that police should be getting drunk drivers off the road, but that's where we believe it should end. We need them back on the streets, continuing that practice so that the public safety is ensured. And I think that's, I'm just going to close with that. I think the council member said it beautifully about the expansion is just, there's no reason to expand it. They have the tools at their disposal, and we'll go into that more.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. As evident by the public outcry surrounding this issue, it is both complex and controversial. Do you feel that solutions to such complex problems should be determined at the local level or at the federal level? John.
Very good question. I want to start by illustrating exactly what it is our founding fathers gave us in the Constitution. It was a form of federalism where the federal government was supposed to be limited in nature. The authority was supposed to be vested in the people, and the higher authority was supposed to be vested in the local governments and the state government. Unfortunately, we have gotten very far away from that operation of doing things, and I believe that it has affected we as an American people as such. I hold right here in my hands the 2003 Criminal Justice Summit on Impaired Driving, which was carried out by the Department of Public Safety and the National Highway and Traffic Safety Administration, which just so happens to be the organization that the chief seeks to take federal funds from in order to carry out this program. I'd also like to point out that this program, it was a National Highway and Traffic Safety Administration agent that approached the chief at a Mothers Against Drunk Driving forum in order to ask him if he would take part in this pilot program. So I would like to say to the Austin residents that such complex and controversial problems should be decided upon at the local level. We should come together as a community and figure out a solution that fits Austin's unique character. If we don't, then what we will soon have coming our way, again, emanating from the federal government, is, this is from the Public Policy Group segment of this, and again, everything lately seems to be getting decided at the federal government and pushed down on we lowly Austinites. From here it says, states and tribes should enact laws that allow for DWI checkpoints. They weren't just saying it, because here we have in the wonderful Texas legislature, we have two bills that are actually calling for just that. One of them was supposed to get heard today. I do not believe that it did.
It did, and it passed.
It did, and it passed out of the Senate.
Yes.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, emanating from the federal government, we could possibly have DWI checkpoints. And while I consider this, that's right, while I consider this police blood withdrawal issue to be of questionable constitutionality, if somebody could effectively argue how DWI checkpoints do not violate the Fourth Amendment, then I'd love to invite them up here to try to do that, because I don't think that they can. This federal document also calls for making test refusal a crime. Now, we have a declaration, it's a tenet of American political life, and that is you're innocent until proven guilty. Well, with this, they would effectively take that away, and if you just merely refuse to take a breathalyzer or blood specimen, you will be a criminal. Not only that, again, one of the caveats for taking federal money, this is another problem with taking direction from the federal government.
I just want to ask you to wrap it up so we can keep moving here.
One of the caveats, there's always strings attached. One of those strings that's going to come along with this program will be the collection of a DNA DWI national database. Last time I checked, that does not fit in with the American way of life. I believe that these problems should be solved at the local level, not the federal.
Okay, so the local level is John?
Thanks, David. Thanks for the question. All government starts at the local level, as evidenced by what's here today. That doesn't mean it finishes here. As I mentioned earlier, state statute already speaks to this issue. The state Senate passed out today DWI checkpoints. They waived a two-thirds majority rule. They passed it. Now it's going to the House. These things are not something that's going to go away. Even if 98% of Austin votes on a ballot that you don't want it, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Our state legislatures and even our federal lawmakers are going to continue to contemplate policing measures as we move forward that expand policing ability to curb crime. I am one of Chief Acevedo's biggest supporters. I believe that he has come in here and done a very good job with what he was faced with. I actually am more than likely on your side on this issue. But I'm not in a position to where I can't make a decision. As your elected leader, I have to make a decision. And so I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to foster a community conversation so that we can make the best decisions possible. But those decisions don't rest here, as I was saying. Your state legislators and your federal lawmakers continue to enact laws that affect the local level. So I believe that we as a council should do what we can, but this is not where it stops. It only starts here.
So local is your answer?
Regarding sobriety checkpoints, I know we're not here to talk about that. The U.S. Supreme Court did rule that sobriety checkpoints are constitutional, and that is why MAD supports the use of sobriety checkpoints. They've been proven to be the most effective deterrent to drunk driving, and they decrease fatalities by 20% where they are used, which is, by the way, in 40 other states. Regarding the use of the blood search warrants, Matt, of course, we do support them. The state courts have ruled that they are constitutional, and therefore MAD supports them.
Debbie?
Sobriety checkpoints, just to touch on that. Yes, while they may have been ruled constitutional, they definitely are intrusive, and there are gray areas that we need to look at, and we'll get into that further. We're talking about starting things from the local level, and in a sense, the Austinites had a lot of say, whether or not, directly or not, in the selection of our new police chief. And I, as you know, am one of the police's greatest critics. But I will tell you that our new chief has brought to town some very good progressive change, some discipline, much needed discipline. And I'm willing to trade off a little bit of these infringements for people not dying on our streets from our police officers for a while. Let me also add, though, that I also believe that he understands the Constitution and he understands infringements in those aspects. And I think he's a reasonable person that will listen to reasonable discourse. And I invite you all to make that happen here.